It was 1 year ago now that Representative Gabrielle Giffords, in the parking lot of a supermarket in Tucson, Arizona, was shot in the head by a gunman. Her doctor said the bullet pierced her skull through and through. A year ago, she could not talk, she could not walk. And it's amazing that she even lived. This past week, after a year of great hardship and great struggle, Gabrielle Giffords stepped up the steps of Congress only so that she could step down. This is what the moment looked like.
Courage to millions of Americans.
Can we back up just a little bit there, Mark, and start over?
To new heights. Millions of Americans. Since the tragic events of 1 year ago, Congresswoman Gifford has become an inspiring symbol of determination and courage to millions of Americans. She has brought the word dignity to new heights by her courage.
No matter what we argue about here on this floor or in this country, there is nothing more important than family and friendship. Every day I am working hard. I will recover and will return. And we will work together again for Arizona and for all Americans. Sincerely, Gabrielle Giffords, Member of Congress.
It's a cliche to say there wasn't a dry eye in the house Wednesday morning, but it's also accurate. So many tried to hide their tears. What about that was so moving that both sides of the aisle and this old priest would be moved to tears by her? For me, I see her as someone who speaks now in those halting words and lives now, slowly but surely, with a certain authority. There are 4 things that give a person authority in this world, and each has their place. There is fear, there is title, there is competence. And then there is this 4th thing. It's hard to put words on it, but I know I saw it, and perhaps you did too, in Gabrielle Giffords. It has something to do with courage, her determination against great odds, and her unrelenting hope in the midst of awful hardship. Hers is the kind of authority that transforms people. True authority. Authority is what we saw in Jesus in tonight's gospel. All were amazed, the scriptures tell us, for this one speaks with authority. This Jesus seems clearly to have an uncommon authority. What people saw in his life made the best and the worst and even the demons pause and pay attention. This authority would transform lives. This authority would inspire the martyrs whose blood proved to be the seeds of the church. Their courage, their determination against great odds, and their hope in the midst of awful hardship, inspired by his, calls us to live such lives ourselves. It's what all true authority does. My friends, if you want authority, you can try fear, for there is a place for that. You can rely on your title. It too has a place in the good ordering of our society, including the church. You can gain authority through competence, but that PhD or that title, that fear or that competence won't transform a life. Your courage, though, your courage and your stubborn hope and your determination against whatever obstacles are in front of you, those will transform lives. This past week, in her halting steps on the steps of Congress, we saw true authority. The true authority of a Gabby Giffords. For one shining moment, she brought the best out in all of us. For one shining moment, her courage transformed political adversaries and made them one. And that which seemed to divide us melted away through our tears for that shining moment. And we saw again what each of us are capable of and to what each of us are called. Give me 1 hour with Gabby Giffords, over 1 hour with any PhD or any pope or any president or any celebrity in all the world. 1 hour. I believe she has just that much to teach me. You can sit under a mitre or behind a stethoscope. You can sit in the Oval Office or wear a Roman collar. You can sit behind a desk that has a sign in front that says CEO or beneath a degree hanging over your head from a prestigious university. But none of these give you the kind of authority I think we're seeing here. The authority to transform lives, which is true authority, and really not something that comes with title or power or competence or fame. This is the byproduct of a life well lived, a courageous life. What has come of our courage? Is there anything courageous about the way we live as parents, our priests, students, our staffs, or whatever our walk in life might be, I'm just not seeing the courage anymore. Is it any wonder then that there is really a crisis of authority in our world, in our nation, in our church, even in our families? This past week, we saw something of a true and life-transforming authority. We saw what each of us are capable of. We saw what each of us are called to. Gabby Giffords knows that her personal climb will be more than 6 steps up a dais. Despite her stunning progress, she still has a long way to go. So do we all. To surmount the obstacles in our paths and live our lives with determination, to live with courage, to live with an unrelenting hope. But therein lies our authority. Therein lies our capacity to transform lives.